Today we're going to be talking about one of the biggest issues in Counter-Strike and one of the most controversial topics really for CS2 throughout its entire history so far, the short lifespan and shelf life of CS2, and that is the cheating problem, because we recently have a lot of opinions coming out on both sides of this and some new numbers coming out to really show the severity of the issue and what's been going on, but also we have some numbers showing what Valve has been doing about it lately as well, which is a little bit exciting, and obviously hopefully things are pointing in the right direction, and there's going to be some great strides in cleaning up the game, hopefully throughout the rest of 2024. But first, just want to mention real quick, if you are looking to sell any of your CS2 items and turn them into cold hard cash or crypto or any other payment method you're looking for, you should definitely hit me up over on Twitter. First link in the description below. We've been getting a ton of deals done lately, helping a ton of people cash out for good prices and safely and effectively and efficiently and all that good stuff, getting you into cash, because it's not always easy to do and it's not always safe. So do it with somebody reliable, do it with somebody you can trust, do it with somebody who has done just so many trades and so many deals and everything at this point. Hit me up on Twitter, and I'm buying pretty much anything and everything, any kind of items, whatever you have, we can probably get a deal done for the right price. With that being said, let's get right into this. So Richard Lewis made this article yesterday. He said talking about cheaters in CS2 has become insufferably stupid, and just based off the headline, not even knowing anything what's going on, I already agree with a lot of this, because I've talked about this, that I just think in general, yes, the CS2 release was really catastrophic. The CS2 release was absolutely botched. It did not go smoothly. It did not go well. It was not what anyone wanted, hoped, expected, or whatever. But since then, Valve has done a lot of good things. There have been some very, very cool updates to this game. The game, at release, it was crashing a ton. There was a ton of bugs, a ton of glitches, ton of cheaters, tons of, lack of content, blah, blah, blah. And there is still a lot of issues with the game. We still need more content. We still need less crashes, especially in big matches. We still need less cheaters and stuff. But we now have gotten some new content. We've gotten some new updates. We've gotten some very cool updates, some game-changing updates, some stuff we had never expected. The game is playing a lot smoother. The game looks amazing. A lot of the skins and stickers and everything are fixed. Valve has made strides. This CS2 today is not the CS2 on release date, that necessarily so many people had issues with. And even as Valve has continued to make improvements and strides, people just continue to find something new to complain about, and new to talk trash about, whatever. And there's just so much negativity online, and it's so easy to shit on CS2. But again, despite that, over the past 4 months, the game's player base has continued to rise. Obviously, there's some people who are playing this game and enjoying it. And again, this game is much better than it was 5, 6, 7 months ago. And I don't really think people are taking that into account. Again, with how many issues there were on release, it wasn't going to get fixed overnight, and it was going to take time. And so far, with the time, Valve has been making strides and has been taking steps. So that's kind of what Richard Lewis is talking about in this article. He says Valve finally got around to updating their anti-cheat after the Copenhagen Major, and the results initially seem to have made a profound dent in the number of cheaters in the game, as well as the type of cheating they can engage in. Social media timelines have been filled with examples of cheating lobbies being obliterated, and the upper tiers of the CS2 Premier rankings have been purged. Again, we saw the CS2 Premier, the top of the rankings, had so many holes in it because when those people got banned, when cheaters got banned, it just left a hole. So I don't know, all of a sudden, the 75th ranked player, he was ranked 5th now because there was 70 cheaters banned and stuff like that. There was a big cleaning out of Premier at all different types of ranks. There was a lot of cheaters banned for sure, and some of the top cheaters being banned. In addition to whatever update to their anti-cheat they've made, they are also for the first time introducing measures that will cancel games if anything seems out of place. A significant change in policy from Valve, who has always been steadfast in belief that false positives are a more grievous sin than letting cheaters go free. You'd have thought that this would have been met with a lot more praise from the community and attention from content creators. After all, cheating seems to be all anyone has ever talked about in the world of CS2 for months. But no, what has happened instead is that people have quietly shuffled along, mumbling, well, the cheaters will be back. And while there's theoretically temporary respite, find other things to complain about. More so than any previous versions of Counter-Strike, it is the constant complaining that typifies and unifies the community. In fact, you can now make a pretty compelling argument that CS2 community across Reddit and HLTV are now more entitled than the perennially ungrateful Dota 2 player base. And obviously that's funny. He's saying this in a lot of Richard Lewis ways and stuff like that. But I do agree with the core sentiment here that, and I've been saying this as well, throughout the history of CS2 so far, people love to complain. People are loving to shit on it. Rather than celebrating the positives, they keep wanting to find more and more and more negatives. And again, that's not to say there has been nothing to complain about. Yes, the CS2 cheater issue has been a big deal, especially at the highest levels. But again, Valve is making strides here. They are starting to ban people. They are starting to clean up the game. And yeah, I do think that things are starting to get better. And yeah, so far people have just found it so much easier. People who just don't really enjoy the game, maybe because they've been playing Counter-Strike for 20 years or whatever. Maybe they're getting tired of it, or they're getting older, or they're getting, I don't even know. they're just getting free likes on Twitter for dunking on stuff or getting some YouTube clickbait views for dunking on stuff or whatever. I think there are a lot more positives that need to be sung and praised about this game as well. Again, that's not to say Valve doesn't deserve criticism. They do, but guess what? Valve has gotten their fair share of criticism at this point, and there's not enough people, I think, talking about the good things about CS2. And obviously, only talking about the negatives and never highlighting the positives is a detriment to the community. That is going to scare new players from wanting to come in. That is going to scare old players from wanting to return back to the game, so it doesn't make a lot of sense, and you definitely don't want your biggest figureheads being just overly negative Nancy's or whatever. But here are some of the very, very interesting and shocking numbers that have come out recently about what just how big the cheating problem has been and what has been going on in the highest ranks of CS2. I don't know why this guy's Twitter thing is taking up half my screen, but Osni tweeted this out. This is data from Leadify. He said, "We all knew that 25K rating Premier was basically..." I want to look at this one first, actually. I had these tweets out of order, but whatever. If this stuff loads. He says, "Now it's 100% confirmed. Valve unintentionally ran a hacker v hacker game mode in their own servers. Most used weapons: SSG, which is the Scout, Scar, Revolver, G3, flashes and smokes thrown per game, 0, which obviously, as you get up to the higher ranks, utility is going to be used more and it's going to become more important. So the fact that people aren't throwing flashes and smokes, that's not a good sign. That's a pretty good sign that a lot of cheating's going on. Time to damage, 0 to 100 milliseconds. Obviously, the faster the reaction times, the more likely it's going to be cheating. This data comes from Leadify, and it's filtered for 25K plus rating in Premier, which is, the very highest ranks in Premier, and it's basically hacker versus hacker. Curious to see if things are improved from the latest VAC updates. And here is some of these shocking data. I mean, I would have never really guessed this. Obviously, I've never played in 25K ELO, whatever, but SSG08 accounting for 60% of kills in 25K plus rating. That is absolutely absurd. That is absolutely insane. Performance metric tool. You can see down here, smokes thrown per game, 0, and time to kill is very, very correlated with, you can see what normal stuff looks like. And yes, obviously, as rating gets higher, these things are going to increase. But you should be like here, you see the normal ranks of time to kill is decreasing and utility is increasing, but then all of a sudden time to kill starts decreasing and utility starts decreasing. That doesn't necessarily make sense. Those things should kind of go hand in hand. Obviously, they can't go hand in hand infinitely forever, but it doesn't really make sense. And then you also have flashes thrown per game looking like the exact same thing. Again, people are killing people faster and faster and faster while also using less utility. It looks like around the 15, 16, 17K mark. So that might be where a lot of the cheaters are kind of thriving at. But it also does make sense that the players in the lower elos, if you're below 15K, you're probably not seeing a ton of cheaters in your games, which could also show us why the player base has been increasing over the past 4 months. Because obviously when a lot of newer players coming in, they're not going to be these guys playing in 15K plus elo. They're going to be the guys playing 15K below. And maybe the game quality has been a lot higher down there. So it's not really preventing new players from coming in because they're not seeing the full scope of the cheater issue at the higher elos. And then here we go. What are players' time to damage in Premier? Again, 25K plus. You're seeing a lot of 0 to 100 MS. And I don't know what the real reaction times are for players that good and at that high level, but it is crazy. Osni also posted the data for 20K plus elo, or 20 to 25K. He says 15 to 20K looks pretty normal, but 20K plus, again, we have SSG being the most killed item. It's you literally getting more kills than the AK-47. And then we also have, again, from 15 to 20, then you get it looking more normal, where it's AK, M4, AWP, USP, starts to get a little bit more normal. So it does seem like cheaters are really getting to that 20K mark in ELO and really thriving from between 20K and above. But again, Valve is starting to clean them up, so I don't know when these numbers are going to be updated. I don't necessarily even know when these numbers are from, but it does seem like Valve's doing stuff. Obviously, people are getting banned. We also had some other tweets like Thor CS2 tweeting out this. He said yesterday, Valve updated the CS2 competitive cooldowns and bans FAQ page. They're working on some stuff right here where VAC has flagged your gameplay as a regular. VAC has flagged a member of your party's gameplay as a regular. Valve has flagged your gameplay as a regular. Players who VAC determines as having a regular gameplay will be disconnected from the match and receive a minimum 1-day competitive cooldown, regardless of their current cooldown level. Cooldowns issued for a regular gameplay prevent access to all game modes for the duration of the cooldown. We have players who party with someone who is disconnected will receive the same minimum 1-day competitive cooldown as a disconnected player, regardless of their current cooldown level. Cooldowns issued, again, same type of thing. You can't play any game modes for the rest of the duration. So obviously very, very interesting stuff here, but it does show that Valve is doing some more stuff as far as VAC banning people and giving people more competitive cooldowns, or being a little bit more lenient, throwing those out and throwing those around. According to CS2 stats, at least 26,000 accounts were nuked in the latest latest VAC wave. They shared detailed statistics with me. And this is from April 26th to May 8th. It looks like we had around 26,000 accounts VAC banned, which is crazy. And again, this is not nothing. Again, this is just May 8th. So obviously, I assume more has happened in the past week as well. And again, this isn't going to fix the cheater problem overnight, and Valve's going to ban some people. And then guess what? New cheats are going to come out, or hackers are going to find a new way, or whatever. It's going to be this constant battle. It's going to be this constant struggle. But at least cleaning up the game somewhat is pointing in the right direction. This is a lot of accounts banned. This is not an insignificant number of cheaters getting banned. Now, it does show that, hey, there were potentially 26,000 cheaters out there, which is crazy, but hey, now they're banned. And now, obviously, we don't know exactly what the extent of all these bans were. I know cheater cooldowns appear to expire after 24 hours. Like it says, they're going to get worse from here. I don't know. Obviously, it probably depends on the severity of the cheating and stuff like that. We'll have to wait and see. Also, I thought that this was interesting. In this Reddit thread about this Richard Lewis article, the top comment says, Leadify data showed that 60% of kills at 25K are with the Scout, and I think Scout was providing for the most kills at 20K also. And then the Scout accounts for less than 2% of all kills on, I believe it said Face It. So it is kind of crazy to show and compare that data between like the 60% of kills with the Scout versus the normal, like closer to 2% of kills with the Scout. So it's just kind of an interesting note. But yes, the cheater problem is a big issue, and it has been, but also people are so overly negative and quick to dunk on Valve and just shit talk CS2. And again, I believe the truth and what is right is probably closer to somewhere in the middle. Yes, the cheating problem is an issue. Yes, Valve is making strides. Yes, they are solving things. Yes, they're doing things. And it's going to hopefully continue to get better and better and better. Yes, we need to hold Valve accountable, but we also need to sing the praises and talk about the good things in the CS community as well, because we can so easily just get caught in this downward negative spiral, which at the end of the day isn't good for anyone and isn't going to help our community grow and become what we all want it to be. But that is pretty much it for this video today, guys. Hopefully catch you in the next one. Until then, peace.